Video topic: the psychology of social media. What each platform does to you. Before we even delve in, understand the fundamental mechanism underpinning every social media platform. It's deceptively simple yet extraordinarily potent. Neuroscientists refer to it as a variable reward loop, the same psychological engine that powers casinos, slot machines, and virtually every gambling system ever devised. I realize it can sound corny to say social media is bad for you, yet my insistence on educating young adults about these platforms' psychological effects stems from genuine concern. This video is designed not to demonize but to illuminate. Before dissecting individual platforms, consider the psychology of someone who abstains from social media entirely. Such a person does not seek validation from others. Their presence is rarer and therefore more valuable. They understand that renown is not a prerequisite for significance. Just something to think about. Social media does not reward you predictably. You never know which post will amuse, which video will go viral, or which notification will confer fleeting recognition. And your brain thrives on that uncertainty. Each unpredictable reward elicits a modest dopamine surge, insufficient for euphoria, but sufficient enough to compel repeated engagement. Over time, the brain ceases chasing the reward itself and becomes addicted to the anticipation of it. This anticipation is the loop. It trains the mind to seek the next novelty, the next microdose of validation. Every major platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X, Snapchat, Facebook, is engineered to optimize this cycle. They do not merely want your attention, they aim to orchestrate your dopaminergic rhythm. Recent research elucidates how these loops hijack neural circuitry. Platforms exploit unpredictable likes, comments, and new content to activate the same dopaminergic pathways implicated in gambling and behavioral addiction, particularly in adolescents and young adults. The combination of infinite scroll and intermittent rewards magnifies reward prediction errors, meaning unexpected notifications or viral posts provoke heightened dopamine bursts that condition compulsive checking. Neurocognitive studies reveal amplified activation in rewards and attention networks, coupled with diminished frontal control signals, linking repeated social validation to reduced impulse control. Psychologically, these reinforcement systems fragment attention, bias cognition towards rapid scanning, and complicate disengagement. Anticipation alone, waiting to see who liked a post, functions as a conditioned cue, eliciting cravings, compulsive checking, and even phantom vibrations. Emotionally, these loops produce fleeting pleasure and social belonging, but correlate with heightened anxiety, mood volatility, doom scrolling, and diminished life satisfaction. Modern research increasingly frames social media's reward systems as digital conditioning mechanism, reshaping attention, expectation, and emotional regulation by pairing unpredictable dopamine hits with every swipe and notification. TikTok. It's not merely an app, it's the most efficient novelty delivery system ever conceived. Each swipe delivers a new, highly salient stimulus, and evolution has wired our brains to give attention to the unexpected. TikTok exploits this instinct relentlessly. Its ultra-brief videos prevent sustained focus, compelling the brain to chase the next hit continuously. Over time, this conditions attention to prefer high-intensity, rapid stimulation. Activities demanding slower, deeper engagement, reading, studying, even conversations begin to feel mentally taxing. TikTok's algorithm does not merely present context, it subtly shapes preferences, moods, and even identity. Research authenticates these effects. Rapid swipe-based design increases cognitive load and fragments attention, impeding focus on continuous tasks. Repeated exposure to ultra-brief, emotionally charged clips trains the brain for fast, frequent rewards, weakening working memory and promoting superficial processing. Heavy users exhibit attentional deficits, diminished executive control in frontal regions, and reduced self-regulation, reflecting a shift from effortful focus to automatic, stimulus-driven engagement. Hyper-personalized feeds encourage novelty-seeking and rapid context switching, disrupting memory for sustained real-world experiences. Neurologically, reward networks become hyperactive, while cognitive control circuits are suppressed. explaining compulsive scrolling. Psychologically, this fusion of high novelty and low effort produces brief mood boosts, emotional desensitization, and mental overload, and the familiar brain rot many users report. TikTok's reinforcement loop thus operates as a conditioning mechanism, reshaping attention span, working memory habits, and novelty-seeking tendencies. Instagram, a psychological crucible of comparison. The more polished and idealized posts appear, the more severe the self-judgment, particularly among young users. Influencer culture reinforces a narrow aesthetic: thin, fit, flawless, curated. When self-worth is tethered to appearance, every post becomes a test, every like a lifeline. Empirical studies consistently reveal that heightened engagement with appearance-focused content precipitates mood declines, body dissatisfaction, and obsessive rumination. Instagram encourages focus on appearance rather than capability, converting identity into a curated display where value is measured by likes, follows, and comments. This fosters a validation loop. Post, wait, refresh, hope, chase the next hit. Short-term boosts from a viral post may feel gratifying, but flops whisper to you, you are a failure. Mental health reviews underscore the toll: elevated depression, anxiety, and diminished self-esteem. Yet, research also notes a mitigating factor. Exposure to diverse body types and supportive communities can buffer these effects. It's less about sheer screen time than about what you see, who you compare yourself to, and the metrics you internalize as meaningful. Twitter, now known as X, is a global emotional accelerant, optimized not for connection or nuance, but for reaction. Its economy is outrage. Posts that provoke anger, fear, or moral judgment spread fastest because they compel immediate sharing. The brain receives an adrenaline spike with every headline engineered to provoke. Over time, this cultivates craving for emotional arousal. Outrage becomes familiar, offense habitual. Identity collapses into tribes. You are either with or against a group. Every tweet signals membership. Every interaction reinforces allegiance. Short posts, instant replies, relentless feeds, the platform's tempo cultivates continuous low-grade agitation, compelling constant monitoring, reaction, and preemptive conflict anticipation. The ultimate reward loop: being right. Wins, validations, ratios, each reinforces a tribal dominance with a dopamine surge. Recent research from 2024 demonstrates that X's design amplifies moral outrage, exaggerates perceived intergroup hostility, and produces emotional fluctuations, including drops in positive affect and spikes in anger, boredom, and polarization. While direct evidence linking Twitter to cortisol spikes remains mixed, chronic exposure to conflict correlates with stress and anxiety. Psychologically, X conditions scanning for outrage, rewards reactive pylons, and normalizes catastrophic black and white thinking. In short, Twitter teaches your brain not just to witness drama, but to inhabit it. YouTube, it actually diverges from the rest. It can restore attention or hijack it. Long-form content engages cognitive systems responsible for focusing, narrative processing, and memory. Extended sessions with the creator cultivate sustained attention, rarely triggered elsewhere, producing a grounding, immersive experience. Parasocial relationships are central to engagement. The brain treats repeated exposure to a creator as a genuine, one-sided friendship. Familiarity fosters trust, identity exploration, and even reductions in loneliness or prejudice. Yet, intense parasocial investment can foster compulsive watching, social anxiety, and over-reliance on creators for emotional regulation, particularly when online connections supersede offline ones. Long-form content promotes narrative absorption, thoughtful engagement, and a sense of companionship, though excessive immersion can displace sleep or responsibilities. In balance, YouTube structure nurtures attention and social support. Unbalanced, it risks over-attachment and habitual overuse. Snapchat, the biggest exploiter of impermanence. Snaps vanish, stories disappear, chats erase themselves. This impermanence renders content psychologically valuable. See it now or lose it forever. Snap streaks amplify this effect, converting messaging into a daily obligation. Missing a day feels socially costly, transforming friendships into a score. This trains the brain to associate consistency with connection and obligation with belonging, creating a potent reinforcement loop for developing minds. Research indicates that streaks induce FOMO, problematic smartphone use, and anxiety, while each increment delivers a dopamine hit that encourages habitual check-in. Prioritize streak maintenance over sleep, homework, or in-person interaction, producing chronic low-level stress. Yet streaks with close offline friends can enhance social connection and do not consistently correlate with negative mental health outcomes. Overall, snap streaks illustrate a fusion of social bonding with gamified reinforcement, producing behaviors that feel falsely meaningful but edge towards compulsion. Facebook. The platform operates through nostalgia, memory, and identity. Old classmates, birthday reminders, photos, all confer emotional comfort. Beneath that veneer, however, lies algorithmic tribalism. The platform favors like-minded content, confirming existing beliefs and reinforcing echo chambers. Users increasingly perceive their bubble as the default, viewing dissent as hostile. Nostalgia loops strengthen the familiar self-conceptions, while repeated exposure to aligned content amplifies confirmation bias and group identity thinking. Mental health research links echo chamber feeds to rumination and cognitive rigidity, especially among vulnerable users. Algorithmic curation, if unchecked, can exacerbate these dynamics, entrenching uncertainty, social division, and biased information processing. So here's the truth. You will not quit social media. I will not quit social media. Almost nobody is going to quit social media. But the goal is awareness, not abstinence. Recognize the forces at play and reclaim agency through these 5 strategies. 1. Algorithmic distancing. Follow intentionally, mute aggressively, unfollow content that provokes anxiety, outrage, or comparison. 2. Mindful scrolling. Before opening an app, ask, why am I here? What am I seeking? Avoid habitual scrolling. 3. Use platforms for their intended purpose. Information, YouTube and articles. Connection, texting or Discord. Entertainment, TikTok. Consciously. Different platforms serve different psychological needs. 4. Protect your attention. Disable non-essential notifications. Set boundaries around streaks, rabbit holes, and drama cycles. Your attention is currency in this day and age. Guard it. And finally, 5. Rebuild offline anchors. Engage in real conversations, real friendships, real hobbies, and embody presence. Offline life contextualizes digital life and prevents identity funneling. You need not abandon social media. You merely need to prevent it from shaping you unconsciously. These platforms are potent, but so are you when you're informed. This channel empowers you with the tools for digital self-defense, psychological autonomy, and critical awareness. Apply these principles and reclaim control over your digital experience, because your mind is worth protecting. Like and subscribe. It takes you 2 seconds, but it helps me out more than you can imagine. Love you guys.